So welcome to the channel Share and Learn by Vikas. What is the most important thing that I need to excel in my career? So before we answer this question, I'm grateful to your feedbacks where many of you have suggested to take a topic on communication. So we will go deep into the communication. We'll learn so many things. We will relearn a lot of things. So coming back to my question is that what is the most important thing that I need to excel in my career? And all the time, my answer to this thoughtful question is just two words, and that is proper communication. Sadly, communication is what many professionals and beginners, to be very specific, overlook and do not give ample time to develop this skill. Actually, the fact is that we need to have a proper communication which is required everywhere, be it your personal life or professional life, whether you are a software developer or a digital marketer, whether you are a family member or a friend, you must know how to interact with people. So before we understand that what are the communication skills, let us listen to a few authors and few educators what they spoke about communication. So Peter Drucker, everybody knows he's an educator and an author. He said the most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. Similarly, Morrow Lindbergh, he's an American writer and an aviator, he has said good communication is just as stimulating as black coffee and just as hard to sleep after. John Powell, an author, has also said about communication that communication works for those who work at it. And Paul J. Mayer, an author, has mentioned that communication is the human connection and therefore is the key to personal and career success. So these all authors and educators have spoken about communication as a very, very important aspect in our career. So let's get back to what are communication skills. So the dictionary meaning of communication skills is that these are the abilities that assist us to become effective at sharing information with others. So how will you share information for that? And here is the crux. At the back end of communication, it is your knowledge and research on the subject which will make you, me, and all of us as an effective communicator. And then your effective communication will strengthen your professional relationship, boost teamwork, and help you to become more productive and acceptable in your career. Looks very easy, but really we have to practice it. We have to understand what exactly the communication means. So let's understand in detail what are the skills which we have to develop to further develop our good and effective communication. Folks, let's start working on developing on our communication. These guidelines which I'm going to share with all of you are also called as 7 C's of communication. So number 1 is be clear in your communication. So while communicating, define clear purpose of your message. The recipients of your message should clearly know why you are interacting with them. The content of your message must be easy to understand, and how you can do that? By avoiding use of complex words. Let's look at that example. This example is a phrase where you can just pinpoint that these two lines which I'm going to speak up are clear or not. That's a brilliant suggestion. Let's discuss it in our next meeting. It was a clear communication. What problems are you facing with your iPads? How do you think we can address them? It is a very clear communication by these two lines. The next one is be concise. A disclaimer here is concise doesn't mean that you make such a small statements that nobody understands. But unnecessarily don't prolong these statements. So to communicate effectively, keep your message as short as possible. Use of needless and excessive words will make your message difficult to understand for the recipients to interpret the information. Let's look at the example and hear it carefully. I wanted to discuss the podcast editing ideas we planned out yesterday. It would be better to add additional fundamentals to the podcast in order to have a stronger impact on the client's message. It was concise, it was compact, but the message which we wanted to give through these sentences were clearly audible. The third point is let's be correct. Whatever information you are sharing needs to be both factually and grammatically correct. Sharing vague informations with grammatical errors will disengage your audience and will have a or maybe leave a bad impression. So proofread it before presenting. Be complete. So do not share incomplete information without facts and figures. This is very important. You are communicating whatever it is. It has to be backed by your research, backed by the facts, and backed by the figures. Otherwise, messages without validated information and without call to action can hamper the decision making process. I'll read out an example. Just listen to it, this example, and then I will also share those words which are creating an impact to get completed. So, example, here it is. Just a reminder that we have a meeting scheduled at 10 a.m. tomorrow to discuss the marketing theme launch with external stakeholders. Please make sure you get all the contents that need to be presented to the clients. So this was an example. So what we can underline here is reminder, meeting, 10 a.m. tomorrow, marketing theme launch, external stakeholders, get all the contents, presented, clients. So this cannot come easy if we have not prepared well, if we have not done our homework. This statement is, which I have mentioned and I am also writing it down just for all of us to understand, is complete, is correct, is concise, and it's clear. So out of those 7 C's, we have today discussed 4 C's. We will continue to discuss in detail and in depth about communication in our next sessions. So bye for the day. Take care. All the best.